Okay, let's get started, shall we? Thank you, thank you. I haven't done anything yet. You don't need to applaud. All right, welcome, welcome. We were trying to get lots of you in. I'm so thrilled with how many of you are here, and welcome. My name is Logan Bingham, Mr. Bingham. I'm the choir director here at East High, and I am so excited for tonight and for all of you for coming, so thank you. But let's get started, and then we'll get into all this. I hope that you maybe quickly enjoyed all that stuff out in the lobby. We're going to have a reception afterwards where there will be some treats. They're individually wrapped, and there's some drinks out there that you can take. But feel free, look through the scrapbooks. There's even boxes of some years of CDs that were in the choir room that I don't know what to do with them. So take them. If you were on one of those CDs, take it, okay? No, just kidding. I don't know what else to do with them, so I brought them down. I know, that's why they're still there. All right. Will you please welcome the East High Madrigals onto the stage, and will you rise for the national anthem? Come on, let's go. All right, will you rise? We're going to sing the national anthem. And then if you grabbed a program on the way in, on the backside after the national anthem, we're going to sing the Leopard song. Hello? If you want to sing along with us to the Leopard song, if you remember it, you are welcome to. Feel free to sing along. You can stand or you can sit, whichever, but sing along if you know the Leopard song. All right. Let me make sure. Just tape. Okay. Sorry, we're making sure the... All right. So tonight, the main reason you're here, I'm sure, is not necessarily to listen to the choirs, but to listen to our guest tonight. I'm happy to have gotten to know her, and I know that you all know her probably a little bit better than I, and I'm excited to get to know her tonight, and for the choirs to see all of this, all of you, and the legacy of East High and East High choirs with our guest tonight. So will you please welcome to the stage Ann Applegate. She said, "You're going to make me cry." That's okay. That's okay. So when I told Anne about this, she said, "Well, what is this going to entail? I don't want to. I'm not good with being on stage." But then I said, "You've been a choir teacher. You've been on stage your entire life, so I'm sure you'll be a natural." And I am just as interested as you to learn a little bit from Anne. I want to just preface. She can't hear this, but later, if you have any questions or memories that you want to share with Anne, there will be a time that we'll do that, okay? So be thinking. You didn't hear that. All right. Anne, do you want to say something before you...
If you remember correctly, I didn't talk much on stage. I mean, people saw my back and heard you. And I never had much to say. When I first transferred up to East High School, they asked me at the first faculty meeting if I had anything I wanted to say, and I said nope. And the year I retired, they asked me if I had anything I wanted to say, and I said, when I first came here, you asked if I had anything I wanted to say, and I said no, and I said I still don't.
Oh, my goodness. Can you hear me? No? Out of this? Maybe? Okay, good. I'm like, I can't hear this one as well as that one. All right, so Anne, the first question that I was going to ask you. Can you still hear me? Yes? It sounds, Riley, will you boost number 4, just so that they can hear me a little bit better? They're not hearing it online? Riley, will you just boost all the, it should be going through the Better? Better? Can you hear me? All right, those of you at home, let us know if you can hear. All right, so the first question. I wanted to go way back to the beginning of your time and tell us about how you got involved or how you found out about East, how you became the teacher, all that, what year it was, all that stuff with East.
Well, we moved here after finishing graduate school in 1969, in February, and my husband was going to school up at the U. He was going to finish his PhD up there, and I was pregnant with my daughter, who's sitting in the front row with me, who has been to every concert I have ever done, I think. She's been my biggest support system. And she was born in 1969, and she's younger than that sounds. But those were two significant things that happened to me in that year. My daughter was born, and I was hired by the Salt Lake City School District. I taught at Bryant for 10 years, and when the teacher that was here then left, they transferred me up. And so I transferred up with the kids that I'd had from Bryant, and those kids had me for 6 straight years in a row. And they have always been pretty special to me. You get to know kids pretty well in 6 years. But as far as, I think I got the job because I was substituting all the time. And it was kind of ironic because there was a rule against pregnant teachers, but I worked every day but 3 that year because I was a music sub. And you know perfectly well that those are far and few between. So I had worked a lot in Salt Lake District, and when the job came open, they called and said, "Can you do it?" I said, "Yep." And I was, like I said, I was at Bryant for 10, and then I transferred up to East. And it was an easy transfer because I knew all the kids that I'd already had.
That's great. What was the atmosphere? What was the culture like at East or with the choir when you came over to East?
It was struggling. The teacher that had been before me had not been terribly interested in the training choirs. He liked to work with the advanced choirs that didn't pay too much attention to the younger ones. And it took a little time to put the program back together. It took 5 years to get it the way I wanted it. But we were on flexible scheduling in those days, which was good for some people, but definitely not for most. So when we went on to a more traditional schedule, by that time we had pretty well worked the program into having the full number of classes that we had the whole time. Well, no, we added classes. It was 83. Yeah. 83 when we had our first ensemble. And I think it was 85, maybe 86 when we started barbershop. And then we had the 3 senior ensembles as well as the concert choir a cappella. And then we had junior choir and boys chorus and girls chorus, and it was full program.
Wow. Okay, so then, now we're spanning the whole time. You retired in 2004.
04.
Okay, and skip forward. What about the program when you retired?
It was going great when I retired. We still had all the same classes we had that we put together.
Great. So, the question is, what makes East special? What makes East East?
East has been different through the years. It's different when I left than when I got here. But the one thing that stayed the same is that East had had a strong choral tradition going back from Lyle Bradford. Lorraine Bowman. And a lot of your parents would have had Lorraine Bowman. Then we had Ruth Funk and Bill Gould, and then me. And truthfully, there's been as many choir teachers since I retired as there were in that first 75 years. East had a reputation of being one of the major choirs in the Valley. East High School a cappella was renowned as being an excellent choir. And all I wanted to do was make sure it stayed that way. I tried.
Yeah. So, I think you touched on something about the program, keeping it big and doing all that you can. What is there a year, or is there an event, or are there things that stand out in your mind that are these few things come to mind when I think of all that time that you spent at East High with the choirs? It could be a tradition or you hear that? No, just kidding.
I remember lots of performances. I remember lots of songs. I can remember sometimes in rehearsal just listening because I was hearing something that was really, really special. And then I can remember vividly the day that I told madrigals. That was absolutely beautiful. And Matt White said to me, "But?" And I said, "What?" He says, "There's always a but." But that was my job, to find the errors and the mistakes and fix them and make them better. But there were a lot of times when there was nothing to fix, and those made me happy. I honestly believe that there is a connection with people who make music together, that people who have never done that will never understand. It ties you together. It gives you a common ground. It gives you something. You've created something artistic, something beautiful. And it's a feeling that I don't know how you get it anyplace else. I really don't. Music was my passion, and I shared it. I got to spend a career sharing my passion with kids. It was wonderful.
I love it. Yeah. The thing that I always say is you don't have things like this for a math teacher or an English teacher. Sorry if any of you are math or English teachers.
But that's not fair because
we have them for a longer amount of time, right?
We not only have them for a longer amount of time, but there's a far more personal interaction with us, with our kids, when we're working. A math teacher doesn't get to have that opportunity.
Yep.
So it's just not fair to compare that.
Sure. Well, and you all understand and can appreciate that, what Anne or what I do is so intricately connected to the success of our classes, right? Without me, they should be able to do what they can do without us, but a conductor's always helpful, but without them we can't do what we need to do.
That's
and
right.
We are in there in the action 24/7, and it's this symbiotic relationship. So you're absolutely correct.
Well, you're younger than I was when I started, but I will say this, that when kids came in my room and they were in my classes, they became my kids, and they were mine to teach, to chastise, to love, to correct, to take care of. I just kind of felt like they belonged to me, and it was my responsibility to make sure they did what they were supposed to do. And that's how I felt about it. And I won't say I loved every minute of it, but I loved most minutes of it.
Almost every minute of it.
I didn't love the trimesters. And the people that were with me during the trimesters, I have the most unbelievable amount of gratitude for what you went through to hold the program together when we had schedules like madrigals don't have a class in December. Sometimes they don't have a class at all. It was a challenge. And I was in survival mode. And most of you know me well enough to know if you challenge me like that, I get very determined. And we survived the trimesters. But I am beyond grateful to the officers that I had that took a lot of the load off me then. So if any of those officers are here, thank you from the bottom of my heart, and thank you to all of those kids who are here at 6:30 every morning to make up the rehearsal time we didn't have during the day.
Yeah. All right, I want to take a quick poll because I had you answer when you bought tickets, what year you graduated, if you had, Anne, what year, just to get a spread. So by the raise of hand, do we have anyone from 79 that was in the 70s that had Anne? Anybody here?
They'd have been at Bryant if they had me in the 70s.
Anyone with her at Bryant? No? All right. Anybody who had Anne in the 80s? Any time in the 80s? Good spread. All right. How about with Anne in the 90s? Yeah. Okay, good. And in the 2000s, early 2000s? Where you at? Oh, yeah, good. Yeah. All right. So I was looking, Anne, and I pretty much saw every single year that you were here. I could go down and go 81, 82, 83, 84, and they were all here. So the fact that they're here, that they had that reaction to come and be with you, I think is a testament to what you did and with the choirs at East High. So thank you. All right, I'm going to give Anne a break. We're going to listen to the ensemble choir. So will you welcome the ensemble choir from East High School up? If you want to sit here and watch, you can. The alumni choir will sing, or you can go sit down and come back up. But if you're welcome, just to sit. Just put here. And I gave you, there's a water here for you. Yeah, just put it down. Just push that. Let me make sure we're on track. Oh, yes. Okay. Are you ready? This is the audience participation, if you want to, portion of, well, we have several of these. All right, so I've been told that some of you have been in cahoots and that you said, let's sing something. And so some people got together and rehearsed, some people didn't. Some of you might be like, oh, I have no idea about anything. And that's fine. So what we're going to do is, I think the best way to do it, right, Jenny, is to have them come. Do you all know Jennifer Corbett? She is the best. So let's do this. We're going to invite anyone from Barbershop. If you remember or want to come sing Morning Has Broken, you can come up on stage and sing with us, okay? Now, on the back of your program, there was a QR code that you can scan, and it will give you the sheet music to sing. If you're like, I don't remember it, you got the sheet music on your phone. So, come on up. You can come stand. Jenny's going to help us play the piano and play these parts. Come on up. Yeah. Come on. Now, you can stand on the risers, or we can kind of do a half circle or whatever. Yeah. All right, I'm going to let you sing. Anne says that you sang it on a undirected flop, right? You think you know it well enough? No.
Is he not going to direct? Are you going to direct?
Wonderful. Not too shabby for some of them just going, okay, I'll come up and sing. All right. We're going to invite anyone who sang in ensemble to come up and sing I'm on My Way. So make your way to the stage if you would like to sing I'm on My Way with us. We might need to put all of y'all on the stands. I think so. Find a spot on the, let's do the risers, it will be easier. Find a spot on the risers, it will be easier. Spread out on the risers, I think it'll work. Only at reunions do you see a baby with a singer, right? I love the baby. All right, ensemble choir, alumni, I'm on my way.
Use all that I've learned.
Wonderful, wonderful. Come sit and chat a little bit. Here's yours. That was beautiful. Was it higher than you expected or remembered it? All right. So, just a few more questions, and then we'll have some more music, and then I'll let you ask questions to Anne. One of the questions that I wrote down is what was your favorite part of teaching? What part of your job, and you could say music or whatever, but what was your favorite part of teaching?
One of the things I liked was watching them grow. Growing up, growing musically, finding out who they were. I liked watching them blossom. I liked watching the shy ones gain confidence. I liked the vibe. I liked being around the kids. I always kind of felt that music was the vehicle with which I taught kids. Rather than saying I taught music, I taught kids music. That's a difference to me.
Ooh, I love that. That's good. I might steal that. She just gave me her blessing, so there you go. Now I teach music to students. All right. The next question I had was, why music? Why is music important? Is music important to you?
Music has been important to me my entire life. I started taking piano when I was 3, and it frustrated me no end that I couldn't reach an octave. And I have been told by people who were there at the time that every morning I got up, because I was told I'd grow, that I would run down and see if I could reach an octave yet. And when I couldn't, it was really disgusting to me, and I didn't like that. My great-grandmother lived with us, and she was a pretty well-known amateur singer in her day. And she probably had cataracts, which made her unable to see well. And as I was practicing the piano, she could be in the other room and said, "Anne, that was an E flat and you played an E natural." I had 2 extremely important women in my life. My grandmother, who gave me a very strong work ethic, and my great-grandmother, who gave me my passion for music. And as far as teaching anything else, I don't think so. That's what I needed to do.
I think you did it well, I would say. The last question I had in this short little section was, what's the best piece of advice you can offer? Best piece of counsel that you could give someone? If someone were to ask you, what have you learned in your life? What's the best advice?
I would say 2 things. Be honest with yourself and put your brain in gear before your mouth.
That is a quote. We need to get that on a stitched pillow. I like that. Fantastic. All right, I'll let you sit for a second. Well, let's have the madrigals come back up on stage, and they're going to sing for you. Come on up, quicker, faster is better. Faster is always better. Yeah. You got it. All right, I'm going to read you. They're going to sing Din Dirin Din Dirin, which is a very old madrigal. It's in Spanish and French. It's actually a dialect of Spanish, Catalan, and French. It mixes the two of them. Isn't that fun? And here's the translation. I love it. I arose one lovely day, went outside to meadows airy. There I heard the nightingale in the branches, sad and weary. There I heard the nightingale in the branches, sad and weary. Nightingale, oh nightingale, here's a message you can carry. Nightingale, oh nightingale, here's a message you can carry. Fly away and tell my love that I am already married. Here's Din Dirin Din Dirin. All right. Let me make sure I'm on track. Yeah. All right. Any of you who were in madrigals, we're keeping with the madrigals theme, and would like to come up and sing softly as I leave you, please come on up on stage. We'll fit as many as we can. I'm going to let them ask you questions. Is that okay? Sure. You can sit or you can stand. I'm going to go out in the audience and let them.
I want to address something that we talked about before because it occurred to me and I think it's important. Talking about math and English teachers don't get this. As a music teacher, you have constant eye contact all the time. And when you have that kind of a constant interaction, you get closer. Do you agree with that? I think that's one of the differences between people in our profession and the ones who teach how to read text. I'm sorry.
You're fine, we're here.
I think that's one of the biggest differences between us and people who teach textbook. We have a personal connection. I feel a personal connection with all of you. It is so wonderful to see so many of you back. And you seem to have a personal connection with me. And I think a lot of it has come to do with eye contact. I'm done.
I agree.
All right. I told Anne that you could ask her questions. Are you ready? So if you have a question, raise your hand. I'll bring the mic to you, and you can ask her, and we'll have a little Q&A. Or if you have a memory you'd like to share, that's fine, too. Anybody want to start? Nobody? Oh. I was like, Lydia, you have a question? Wow.
Hi there, Andrew Maxfield, class of 99. Yay! I am curious from Mrs. Applegate and also Mr. Bingham, what have you learned about helping young singers find their voice, both mechanically and, I don't know, philosophically?
I'm sorry, with the mask on.
Can you hear? It's hard to hear because you have no mic or no monitors.
He said, what have you found about helping young singers find their voice, both mechanically or philosophically?
Mechanically, I think probably the first thing to do is learn how to make a pure vowel. Philosophically, I always tried to let the voices be age appropriate. Teach them how to breathe. Just basic technique kinds of things that I never wanted you to sound like you were 30. So we worked on having you sing correctly at the age you were.
I think that's great. I was going to say, I'm a firm believer in that everyone can sing, and if you don't think that you can, it's because someone told you you can't, right? And so if at a young age someone tells you that you can't sing, that's detrimental to a young person's voice because it's a personal thing. It's part of us, right? You use it to speak, you can sing. You just haven't had practice with it, right? Hopefully they understand that. I think they do. All right, good. Q&A. Back in the back. You're going to make me run all the way over there. It's worth it. Wait for it. Wait for it.
Hello, Anne. This is John Hatch from 1997. It's been a minute. Couple of things. We moved into the new school. My freshman year here was the last year in the original school. We transitioned into the new school, and the a cappella room had a big mirror that went all the way across. And I remember you saying, "Don't fall in love with yourself, looking at yourself all day." That was pretty hilarious. So, no, I have a couple of comments. One is the Disney trip. A lot of us in my generation, I don't know if it was before or after when it stopped or ended, but that was probably one of the best high school memories that me and my class of 97 had, was going to Disneyland. So just as a parent now of a senior in high school, goes to Bingham, where kind of south end of the valley, but that's impossible to pull off. I'm just curious about, when did you start thinking that a Disney trip for students would be a great idea? Because it ended up being the best thing that I remember, best memory I had in high school. And I imagine a lot of people feel the same way.
Could you hear Anne?
When did I what? When did I what?
When did you think that going to Disneyland would be a good idea, and how'd you do it?
That, I never thought it was a good idea. However, while we were there, I figured you'd worked hard enough to play, and you worked really hard at the clinics that we had first. And those were like a master class in singing from the man that we went to. But you wanted to play, so we played, and we sang at Disneyland because we could get tickets cheaper.
I love it. The Madrigals are going to Disneyland this next year in April. All right, question.
Keith Quigley, 1981. I changed my major in college and decided to go into teaching. When I came back and told you that, you told me I was crazy. Do you still think it's insane to go into teaching?
Yes. Just kidding.
I'd hate to be doing it now. But, no. Most of the teachers that I know are trying to do their best for the kids that they're working with. There are better teachers than others. We all know that. Somebody always graduated in the bottom of the class. But nevertheless, teachers work hard for very little. And yeah, that's crazy. However, I'm sure glad that there are people like that. I was proud of you for doing it.
Matt Stoll, 1990, and I've got two stories of Anne that I'd like to share. The first one was an a cappella story. I was an a cappella in Madrigals with this guy, Jim Boyden, right here. And our a cappella, our senior year during a cappella, we did a choir sharing or something where choir directors from the 3 Salt Lake high schools swapped for a day. And Anne went to some other school, and the choir director from Highland came here and taught us for a day. And so she told us the day before in her very serious tone, you always knew when she was deadly serious. She said, when I come back after he's been here for the day, I want him to tell me you are the best choir he has ever worked with. And I will check on that. So he came, and we were doing the Battle Hymn of the Republic. We did a bunch of things, but towards the end we're doing Battle Hymn of the Republic, and we're at that part where it's Truth is Marching and the bell rings, and he just sets his hands down and stops, and we just all kept singing. And we kept going for about an extra minute and a half to finish the song, and some of us started marching in place during that last part. And the next day when Anne got there, a cappella starts, she comes before us, and she kind of had that smile, and she goes, well, he told me you were definitely the most unique group he's ever worked with.
I couldn't understand.
And this last story is one from Madrigals, and it entails my good friend Jim Boyden here. This is a story about Anne and how serious she is about trying to teach the technique about singing. So Jim always had trouble with his breathing, or I shouldn't say always, but he had trouble sometimes breathing and running out of breath towards the end of, a long line. Do you want to tell it?
He's going to tell it wrong, Ann. So, can you hear me okay? I'm going to come up to Ann. Okay. in Madrigals, 1990, I sat on the front row, about right here. And what Matt was getting at is that I tended to be a shallow breather, and I couldn't hold the notes as long, and I was always sneaking breaths. And it frustrated you to no end. You got up from the piano, and you came over, and you stood right in front of me, and you grabbed my wrists, and you planted them on your rib cage. And you said, "Feel this." And you filled your diaphragm up with air in a way that blew my mind. And then you said, "Try it." And then you put your hands on my ribs. And I went, and you're, "No, you're doing it wrong." And we sat there, and I learned how to breathe properly. So when you say, "I want to teach you how to breathe," that lesson has stayed with me. It's the first thing I think about anytime I sing, is I got to fill it up here, not down here, so that I can carry out. And I have to admit, I've gotten better at holding those notes out. So anyway, thank you for that lesson.
I love it. I love it. Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? You? Oh, dear. This is my father, everyone.
He ruined it. And I don't know you, but I want to thank you.
Take the mask down.
I just want to thank you on behalf of non-musical people. I raised a son with my wife who would only shut up in the car to Phantom of the Opera and other things like that. And so I was not raised in a musical family. My wife was. And for the first few years, I was dragged to musical concerts. And I've learned to love music. And teachers like you who've ingrained the ability to teach music and to teach children music have helped somebody like Logan become a teacher. And we're grateful to you and those people that have done that. So thank you so much.
Hi, Dan McMaster, 1991, and got most of our family here. I, maybe like some, I feel like as the years went on, I came to appreciate, looking back, those years a lot more than I did probably during those years. But one of the things, my wife and I, she also was in Madrigals, not here tonight, but we started a tradition in our family, wherever we've lived around the world, or I guess mostly in the country, to go to a Messiah sing-in at whatever denominational church. And I think a lot of that started with singing the Hallelujah chorus. And that was a great memory for us. But I also realized, during our years, we went and sang at churches in sacrament meeting and sang a lot of religious music that I was very grateful for, and multiple different denominations. So maybe a question for you is, any comments about that experience and maybe what prompted that idea? I don't know if that would still be pulled off today, of having kids go into a church and sing religious music.
It was not problematic because it had been a tradition here for a long time, and the majority of the kids were of that denomination. We were invited, we went and we sang. I don't think it was a problem then. It did become a problem later. We had one superintendent who said, an assistant superintendent, who said that I absolutely could not attend churches services with the kids. And I argued about it and suggested that she was messing with my constitutional rights to go to church wherever I wanted to go. And she said that if I directed, it became a school function. That's okay, so we started working with assistant directors, with student directors. But I went anyway. And there were times times when they needed me there. And this is a different world, even than 20 years ago. And I really wouldn't want to comment on that. I think if people choose to do something, that's one thing. If they're required to do that, it's something else. It was not a problem for us in 1981.
Great. Anyone else?
Yeah, Ron Price, class of 81. Anne said that she never thought going to Disneyland was a good idea. Going back to the very first trip, 1980, her first year here, we went to Disneyland. There may have been a night that down there on that trip where she may have had a drink or two. She had this very nice leather jacket that she wore. My recollection is her husband rode a motorcycle, Anne would ride that, but she had this nice leather jacket. She ended up in the swimming pool that night with that leather jacket that I believe got ruined. Was never the same.
Your 1980 Disneyland trip, you had a leather jacket and you ended up in the swimming pool.
Oh, yeah. I remember that very well, Ron.
But the thing I want to say, and I want to use a sports comparison here with Anne. All of us have heard the term of a player's coach. You know, you have two types of coaches. You've got the kind of coach that, well, lots of coaches, but you have a kind of coach that knows how to win, but many of his or her athletes can't stand the coach when they finish the program. On the other hand, there's the coaches that are called players' coaches. They get the most out of their players, and their players absolutely love them. They bond and they connect. Anne was and is a student's teacher. Just as a quick story on that, as we're coming down towards the end of our year in 81, one of our classmates was told right towards the end of graduation that she didn't have enough credits to graduate. Anne went to bat for that student, took her under her wings, got her so she could get the credit she needed to graduate in a much shorter time frame than would be normal. Anne is a student's teacher. Thank you so much.
Hello. It's Sarah Eager, 1987. And back in the day, we used to have a sleepover at your house for the whole a cappella. And as I recall, don't get any ideas.
That was just ensemble.
Oh, was it ensemble?
That was just ensemble.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, my memory is a little off, but I remember I never really did see you that night. I think you locked yourself in your bedroom and didn't come out because there was kids all over the house. And I remember my girlfriend and I ended up in the bathroom, and there was nowhere else to sleep, and we slept on that cold, awful floor. It was the worst night of my life. But I'm wearing this hat. As I recall, there's a tradition of Christmas. You'd hide this hat in the back of our, I don't know what it was, but anyway, then a certain song would bring it out and then put it on or something. It was the night before Christmas or whatever. Anyway, my brother, Jeremy Eager, a few years ahead of me, hid his hat, and then when he put it on, you were just horrified because he had it over his whole face, and then he cut eyes in the middle of this hat, and he said you just looked over the crowd, and when you saw him, you just looked at him like, oh, man. Horrified.
They're all looking at me like, yeah, Mr. Bingham. No.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Emerson Gardner, class of 94. And I don't have any questions, but there is something I've been wanting to tell you. You helped me love music. I remember starting out in girls' choir, and going all the way up to a cappella. And you were the best teacher I'd ever had. I loved you more than any of my other teachers. I want to thank you for all the things that you've taught me. I have grown kids now, and I have a daughter who's in madrigals at her school. And I always looked forward to the 6:30 a.m. rehearsals because it set the tone for the day, and it just made my day really good. And I want to thank you for that.
Okay, Anne Marie Levitt, class of 2000. So this is my question. I want to know, other than the music, if there were phrases that you, and of course the engage your brain before you talk, your mouth phrase, that you would constantly say to your classroom. I hear your voice and some of the things that you would say just randomly. For instance, I remember when you said, if you ever have an opportunity to go to a Notre Dame football game, go, because it will change your life. I remember you distinctly saying these little bits and pieces. So, are there phrases that you remember saying time and time again, or perhaps it'd be interesting to ask the audience, do you remember phrases that Ann Applegate would say other than the music?
Did you hear?
I didn't get it all.
She says that you said a lot of phrases, and she remembers one that you said if you have the opportunity to go to a Notre Dame football game, that you should, because it will change your life. And so then she said that do you have any phrases that come to mind that you said over and over and over again?
It would, though. Notre Dame football's unbelievably good. I love Notre Dame football. Ladies and gentlemen, I need to go home. This has been absolutely lovely, but I think can we wrap it up?
Yes, we can. I was just about to say, that if you have these stories or any of that you can share with Anne. I'm sure that you'll get to say hi, hopefully, at the end, and she can be on her way. Let's skip forward. Let's have Madrigal sing, and then I'll invite anybody who wants to come up to sing "The Lord Bless You and Keep You," and we'll end with that. So Madrigals, let's go quick. What? We're just going to skip me. It's fine. No. She's got to go home. Come on, let's go.
Let them. Do they have another song to sing? Do they have another song they want to sing?
And then we'll sing "Lord Bless You."
Well, let them sing.
Okay?
Let them sing what they want to sing, and then let them.
They wanted me to sing because Jenny wanted me to sing, but I said no.
Okay.
No.
Logan.
If Anne says
Logan.
so, no.
Go ahead and sing. If you go ahead and sing, they can sing "The Lord Bless You and Keep You" right where they are.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. Let me take your mic, and I'll give it to our soloist. Oh, sorry. Serene. And these are our lovely soloists, Serene and Lydia.
Every day, every to deliver in times of storm. I know that He'll keep you safe from all earthly harm. One day when my weary soul is at rest, I'm going home to be forever blessed. No matter what the test, no matter what the test, didn't my God deliver Moses from King Pharaoh? And didn't He cool the fire furnace from Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? When I think of what my God can do, He delivered Daniel, I know He will deliver you. No matter what the test, He never failed me, He never failed me. He'll never fail me. He never failed 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 me. He never, never failed. Never failed me yet.
All right. Let's just have, Anne just said, let's just have you sing, Lord bless you and keep you from your seats, okay? So if you want, stand, and you can sing. No, it's fine. No, really, really. I'll sing it for them. You're fine. Would you like to conduct? She's there. She's gotcha. They want a picture. She wants to take a picture with you. Will you all stand, keep standing? We're going to take a picture. Do you want to come stand right here and turn around, and then we'll take a picture with you in the middle? Everybody in the background. You can face this way. I'll take a picture too. Face this way, Anne. Turn this way. Come stand right here. Come stand right here. Come stand right here. You're good. There you go. Now we can get everybody. All right. Look pretty. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Before you all go, most of you probably know who I am, although you may not recognize me. You've known me from this size to this size. My name is Brandy Applegate Fox. I am Mrs. Applegate's daughter, which means that I actually know who most of you are too. And I can tell you, when we were contacted about doing this, she said, nobody's going to come to this. Nobody's going to want to see this. Nobody wants to pay any attention. And I said, try it. You might be surprised. So, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for what you have meant to my mother, to our family, to each other over the last 40-odd years. Well, she started teaching here in Salt Lake in 1969. We're not going to give that number because, it was a while ago.
And some of you were part of that. At least most of you have been part of that for part of that time. And I appreciate you coming. I don't think you guys realized how much this has meant to her tonight, which means a lot to me as well. And as probably a Guinness record holding person for having been to more high school musical concerts, this was probably my top favorite one. So thank you.
All right. Thank you for coming. I was going to say, I invite you. We're going to try and do an alumni choir for Christmas, so you can come sing the Hallelujah chorus and 'Twas the Night with us. If you have not joined the Facebook group for the alumni, it's out there. You can scan the QR code, join the Facebook group, keep connected. But thanks for coming, everyone. There's reception, there's food and stuff outside. You can mingle. Thanks for coming.